evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Esea MDL Season 32, where tonight myself and Pratalis do have the pleasure of casting Phoenix coming up against Xgo for you. How you doing, Pratalis?
I'm good. It's quite rare that we get to see UKCS on show, especially at an international level. So looking forward to see how our Phoenix boys are able to compete tonight.
It should be an intriguing matchup. I mean, Phoenix, they've picked up the new boy in Xuan Flatro, and I don't know if you know this, but he 2-0'd Mouse Sports with his other mixed team in ECS. So it's a player with a lot of potential, and going into this one, a lot of those Phoenix boys do have a lot of skill and a lot of raw talent that perhaps they just need to realise in this mixed team.
But yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, having the raw talent there can be enough for you. But when you're going up against competent rosters at international levels, they're going to have that team cohesion. They're going to be slightly more drilled together and have things together that little bit more tactically. So it's about bringing up something on a little bit of a more elevated level than you might be used to. But as you were saying, if this new player they picked up has managed to beat teams of the tenure of Mouse Sports and things in the not so recent past, then it should be all open for Phoenix right now.
A huge opportunity for them, certainly, and it really does just become a game of showing yourselves on the big stage for those Phoenix boys, because of course they're without a roster at the moment, and we've seen a fair few of them playing in rosters, so a lot of potential, and it's just about showing up against an AGO side who, with mixed results recently, they've struggled on maps like Vertigo. I know that's a sentence that doesn't really make any sense in the context of CSGO, but they have struggled on maps like Vertigo. But they're starting to come back into things. I think they're starting to find their form again in MDL.
Yeah, well, they have more map wins on record than the boys over at Phoenix do. Unfortunately, just the one on train for them. So they're going to have to be looking to try and buffer their scoreline somewhat in this map today. But interestingly, XCOM have won both of their MDL games on Mirage, and that is going to be the battleground today. So surely they're going to be feeling at least a little bit prepared coming into this map.
I think the map veto definitely has gone fairly well their way. I mean, Phoenix, they have like that 60-odd% win rate on Mirage, but 74, I think it is for XCOM AGO, just feels like it's very dominant, and it does feel like you're expecting a relatively swift game here. Although I do hope some of the UK boys turn up. Of course, I'm not going to get through this intro segment without mentioning Surreal and Thomas. Thomas, of course, on that no chance roster, took himself out of there and is now trying to apply his trade over in MDL with Phoenix. And for him personally, I think I'd love to see him have a great game.
Well, I mean, we'd all love to see the UKCS players start popping off and have a great game, but there's a reason that UKCS exists and is a meme in the wider community. So my hopes are high, but my expectations may be somewhat more grounded for this match.
Understandable. I will be holding out hope throughout this best of one that we could see some of the UK boys coming up and shining in it. And of course, after this one is over and done with, we will be jumping on to Illuminar versus Demise. So plenty of CS for you to enjoy on this stream tonight. And it's a good opportunity to get some casting in. It's been a little while since we've stretched the vocal cords, hasn't it, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of rescheduling issues and things going on, timetable clashes, but nonetheless, those seem to have all been alleviated for this evening, and hopefully going to be able to get this good night of Counter-Strike involved. I'm just anxious really for this map on Mirage to start and see how things are going to go early on.
Yeah, we are currently waiting for all of the players to get into the server. For anybody in the chat who's a little bit curious, we have a good number at the moment. We're sat on about 9, but there are a few coaches as well. So we're just waiting for everybody to get into the server, and then we will get started with Mirage and really get underway with MDL tonight. I mean, I've kind of ran out of things to say. AGO have looked very good. Phoenix are very individually talented. That's basically your bottom line.
Well, then hopefully we should see some clip-worthy moments coming out from this map then, right? If Phoenix are going to be a side that are leaning more on that individual skill to try and make those performances happen, then we might particularly want to be watching key action areas around connector and mid-window, right? That tends to be where your individual players can shine, as the mid position is so heavily contested and important on a map like Mirage. So that is potentially an area that we are going to be looking at for some of those more actionable plays to be coming out from. But as well, if they begin on the CT side for Phoenix, those B-site anchoring players can be quite worthy of getting those highlight moments, just defending that B-bomb site. There is huge anchorage potential there. So wherever we're going to see the most action, hopefully we get provided with some nice clip-worthy plays.
And as you may have noticed, the players are just relocating to a new server, so I'm going to drop you the Sly that I've sent you, the new one to get into, and hopefully that means we will get most of these issues alleviated and get back into things sooner rather than later. I think one of the AGO boys was having a little bit of trouble connecting to the server, so we have tried to switch over to a new one, and currently we've got 4 players in, so we've managed to lose about 5 at the moment, but hopefully they will get back into things sooner rather than later.
Yeah, otherwise we might have some kind of messed up 2v2 tournament on our hands, which, depending on who you ask, makes interesting viewing.
You can't do 2v2 in CS. 5-on-5 is the true format of CSGO. Don't tell me otherwise.
I don't know. I thought that Omen tournament had its merits. Seeing people basically just left click each other and just completely raw aim jaws is entertaining for a while, but doesn't really have the substance for me to be able to watch for longer periods of time.
It definitely has a shelf life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a limited amount you can do with 2v2, and 5-on-5 is just the purest format of CSGO, and long may it live, although Riot certainly are trying to do the best they can to disrupt the scene. But we'll ignore that.
Definitely interesting. It was just about the last announcement I was expecting to come out of Riot Games heading into Worlds, but it's interesting to see as well. People speculate as to what space that new project, is it called Project A or Project Alpha or something? It will be interesting to see what space that goes into, because people are saying at the moment it looks more positioned to try and encroach on Overwatch's market space rather than CS's. But who knows? If it's a good game, it's a good game, and I always love watching good FPS titles.
Yeah, I think I mean, from a raw gameplay perspective, it looks like it has a lot of potential. I think most games are going to struggle to beat CS in just the level of establishment it has. I think, personally, it's looking like an Overwatch killer for me, but I like the fact there's someone else competing in the CS space. I think that's going to be massive, because there were rumors flying around, I think it was 2 years ago when this first got rumored to be coming out from Riot, and the rumor was that it was going to be a 3 million prize pool for the major that year. Of course, it never happened because the game never came out, but if something like a new game forces Valve to really start shoving their weight into CS, I'm all for it.
Well, it's interesting that you say this one might be an Overwatch killer, because for me, Overwatch was the Overwatch killer. They sort of murdered their own meta and destroyed their competitive scene. But, who knows? The future is bright, potentially. We'll just have to see how things unfold.
That's a little bit harsh, saying that they killed their own game.
Well, I mean, that's the statement I've made, and that's the one I'm going to stick by.
We're sticking by it, are we? Good stuff. We do, by the looks of things, have 10 players in the server. It looks like they are happy with the one we are on now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we've done a nice long fill segment to open things up, and we will be getting to go live sooner rather than later, because I don't want this game to go on longer than it has to. I want to be able to cast the second game at 6 p.m.
Well, hopefully, we're just going to have to see what kind of pace these teams do start bringing to things. I think everyone is just in the final stages of preparation now as we head into the new server that we are in. I'm liking the profile picture of Thomas as well, by the way. I wonder if that is going to be one that makes its way through to stream and graces all of your screens, as it is mine at the moment, because it's an interesting one nonetheless.
I think it will. I think the Felix boys are having a little bit of fun, and who can blame them? A very new roster, why not just enjoy yourselves? And talking about the pace of the game, I think this one is going to end up being fairly relentless. I think that's one of the areas Phoenix can really look to pressure AGO, is just going quickly. Mirage is a map where those early mid peaks, early A ramp peak, you can even go early into the apartments if for some reason you want to hit B. It just gives you the opportunity to put the CT side on a bit of a kilter, start to make it a little bit difficult very early on, and I think that's what Phoenix are going to have to do if they want a chance against this AGO roster.
Yeah, well, they say the early bird gets the worm, but that's not really the case if your opponent's got a competent AWPer holding down those tight angles. So, by all means, go early and aggressive and go for that early control, but just make sure that you've considered all of the other defensive factors that might be at play, because the last thing you want to end up doing is rushing in a straight line into an AWP, offering him a collateral kill of some kind, and then destroying the round immediately. But it does look like we are actually going to be getting underway with a knife round. So action is beholden upon your screens, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready for the game.
Something to watch, ladies and gents, and it will be the knife round starting off. I'm not even going to bother trying to commentate it, but basically, for those of you who don't know, both teams just vying to get the side they wish to start on tends to be CT side on Mirage, unless Frotalis has any particular insight on one of these guys.
No, you tend to see the CT side pickup go on there. It's interesting to see that Spelan getting tagged down early on, still managing to find the kill though, because he knew that he only needed the couple of right clicks there onto his opponent to get things. But yeah, I always find the knife rounds end a bit up, being a little bit like the hokey pokey at the start. You know, everyone lined up against each other, left foot in, left foot out. Oh, who's going to commit to the fight? But no, it is Phoenix that win it in the end, and it does look like they are going to be sticking on the defensive side of things, which means it's going to be the Polish side that are in control of the pace for our inaugural round.
P250 and a couple of nades. Sydney and Furlan really upgrading heavily. Furlan even getting dropped across that P250 as it's an early play towards the B-bomb site. And Phoenix, they've got a decent amount of presence here, although AGO may just look to go towards underpass, try and get that mid-split. MHL top mid. Juan Flatro towards short, trying to take the early contact as a couple of tags come through, but nobody from AGO really spotting out anything yet. Now the dinks come through, and Groovy instantly taking down Thomas on the only engagement. And Spelan fully blinded. This is such a nice loop around as Furlan finds the shot. And Juan Flatro really with it all to do is managing to find kills and baiting for Crucial as well. Lemon low HP, no utility is going to be found, and somehow Phoenix have got themselves the 3-on-2 with Furlan and Sydney to try and hold it down. The P250 still alive and kicking though as Crucial goes down to just 18 HP. And can Phoenix get into this bomb site here? They know where at least one is, but they still haven't spotted Sydney. Furlan doing so much damage to Crucial. He manages to get the first. Looking for more. Furlan gets the second, but it's the new boy, Juan Flatro, to trade. 1-on-1. Who will hit it? It will be Furlan. 4 kills on the P250.
Yeah, he's playing such an important role there in that late round situation, just holding in the doorway to market there. It really forces the Phoenix players. They have to push him from that position, right? They send the player through the window, and he can't even comfortably push the site at this point with Furlan still alive. They have to try and wrap around on him and land those shots, but he's just too good with the headshots in that situation. Does a great job of picking up those 3 clean kills towards the end of the round, and now it looks like it's going to be a gamble A-stack from Phoenix, and XCOM might be walking right into it.
Slightly worrying signs, as it does look like XCOM are setting up for this A-hit. There's very little investment over on the Phoenix side of things, just the 1 P250 for Surreal. Juan Flatro getting him hands on the Deagle, and I mean, he had a good pistol round, so why not give him that opportunity? And it's a very heavy investment from the AGO boys as well. 3 Galils, 3 coming out onto Furlan as it is MHL and Sydney trying to take the early contact. The dinks, though, Sydney down to 15 HP and Juan Flatro going to find one. How is this round going so badly wrong? Spelan got a knife?
Okay, that is one of the more messy rounds of competitive play I've ever seen in my entire life. But if you ever needed a textbook justification as to why teams do go for gamble stacks in those second round eco situations, that is exactly why. Some very nice pistol play, good early headshots going on, and just taking complete advantage of the chaos there. And they've managed to just scrape that round together out of nowhere.
That was absolutely ridiculous, and understandably, we are going to see AGO calling the timeout off of the back of that absolute mess, and gives us an opportunity to try and dissect what just happened. It looked like Juan Flatro did a great job with the Deagle. He grabs a couple of kills, and then it just really descends into madness. It looked like AGO, they had eyes for nowhere but that A-bomb site, as they are going to try and force up here. They're going to get the Krieg onto Lemon, and Groovy's going to be able to pick up a Deagle, but very limited opportunities here for the T side.
Yeah, I think in that last one as well, they just weren't quick enough with their lethal utility, right? There were a lot of players under that balcony right there that Molotov could have taken care of, but Groovy instead just put the smoke out and decided to push straight away. The rest of his team didn't even manage to get into Tetris, really, before they could have a chance to deploy the utility to that position, and as a result, they just fell to all of those pistoling players hiding deep within the site. They are going to refocus their attention onto this A bomb site once again by the looks of things, though, and it's a slightly lighter defense in terms of bodies, but the equipment is much more available for Phoenix.
Mac 10 on Spelan, the only real weakness, and it might just get a freebie here. Indeed it will. Groovy without any armor to back him up, that's an easy frag, and now Spelan just looks to deploy that utility, back up the Galil of Surreal, and this is so much cleaner from the Phoenix boys. Last man alive is Sydney, and he almost gets the USPS kill there, Spelan, but Surreal just going to nab that one away with the Galil, and that is such a clean round as well from the CT side. They keep all their rifles up. Spelan, even with enough cash to upgrade, I think he just grabbed that Krieg off the ground before the end of the round. And now for AGO, they haven't got the bomb down in a couple of rounds. They had a shock loss, and they're only going to be able to afford 1 P250.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing an excellent early game economy being garnered by the Phoenix side right here as a result of them all surviving through the last one. 3 players in the round that they won with just the pistols also survived and managed to bring weapons through, so their bank has been padded for quite a while now. AGO thinking about redirecting things over towards the B bomb site this time, but Phoenix don't need to gamble stack anywhere in this particular round. They have absolutely everything available for them, other than maybe the slight decrease in the kill there. Ferland getting a little bit speedy with his hops back towards the apartments, but not in a position to garner a kill off of them. So no insane movement clips going on just yet from the AGO players, but it does look like instead of attacking B immediately, they're going to redirect their sights. So it could be in trouble. Does recorrect that spray in time, though. Not going to fall to the lurk of Lemon and cause XCOM AGO to refocus at their side.
And now it's just looking like business as usual for the Phoenix boys, just cleaning up house. Last man alive, Sydney, is going to get a couple of dinks off, and you can see Surreal a little bit cautious here, but he knows low HP on the last man. Spellin is going to clean up, and can we talk for a second about that spray from Joan Flatro? That was absolutely nuts, as we will see AGO finally able to get their first buy of the half in.
Yeah, does an excellent job. Basically, the most important thing there is the fact that he didn't die. Securing the kill is obviously an added bonus, but if you think about it in that situation, right, you've got the player rushing up underpass, he kills you with the P250, now they have an M4 to work with. They're probably not going to win the round because it's still a 4 versus 3 situation, but they can maybe then pull 2 more rifles away from you, keep your economy slightly more in check, and deny you gaining as much momentum as you would be otherwise. Ferland here looking to get nice and aggressive in the front of this smoke, though. Again, Phoenix, though, in that last round, surviving with all players left alive, and they're just able to pad their economy even further.
You can see they're starting to feel confident as well. They don't feel the need to push as aggressively for information over on the CT side of things. There's 1:20 left on the clock. They're yet to lose a man, and they're just sitting back in their sights for the time being, Phoenix. They've got that AWP in the hands of Surreal for the first time. He's deep in towards CT spawn, and it just looks like Phoenix are happy to let AGO come to them at the moment, as they are starting to push towards short. Joan Flatro getting the information, and AGO, they will be able to get themselves a little bit of mid-control here, but what will they do off the back of it?
Well, that is the question, because even though they do have this mid-control, it's only really utility that's allowing them to keep it at the moment. They are going to find the spray down through the smoke there, though, which could be crucial, as it does divide up the CT defense now and potentially cut off rotating potential. Thomas is going to have a go at reclaiming jungle, though, and he does just that. Finds a very nice org headshot to swing things back now in favor of Phoenix, but Groovy once again, he's found the trade over on A. The bomb's making its way here now, and the split push has to come in, but the rotations are in a good position here from Phoenix.
Spellin had to win that duel, as MHL and Sydney are going to take down a couple. Thomas only able to find one in response, and Joan Flatro, you have a huge job to do here. 3-on-1. Very limited in his utility as well. You wouldn't blame him if he goes for the save, but it looks like he fancies his chances. Spots the first player in towards dark, but now AGO can just sit back. There's no utility for the CT side to really try and force any of these fights. As you can see, Joan Flatro desperately trying to find himself anything to work with. He's going to switch out the M4 for an AK-47. But I think that might be the end of things here. He's trying to get any kind of information he can out of that jungle peak, but instead, MHL's going to pick himself up the AWP and just miss the timing, so Joan Flatro will be allowed to stay alive for the time being with that AK-47, although if he goes for the peak onto MHL, he could be in trouble. And XCOM, they just start to stabilize, and indeed, MHL is going to find the pick just at the death of that round, so nothing staying alive over on the CT side. They're going to be able to invest fully, but it's going to put that economy a little bit more on edge.
Yeah, Surreal down to absolutely nothing left in the bank. Now, Spellin still has about 12k, so he'll be able to comfortably drop next round regardless of what happens in this one. But, again, important that Phoenix lose that round without players surviving, contributing to this all-important economy factor. And they've gone for a double AWP setup into this one, so they've chosen to very much strain their banks even more than they were otherwise. But as long as it wins you the round, that's what's important. The attack from AGO being rejigged over towards this B-bomb site now, but they weren't expecting that AWP to be there, I don't think. That's going to throw a spanner in the works, and now you can see they might even start to be questioning what their initial plans were, and they're heading back over towards this A-bomb site just off the back of that one frag, and it's going to be really interesting to see whether they anticipate there being another AWP left in this site. And look at this CT setup right now from Phoenix. They're so aggressive, all the way up short, have complete mid-control. They've got players right close to the bottom of the connector to rotate straight in. Asia are going to be in trouble on this attack.
Such a strong position to put yourselves in. They've got the AWPs out as well. That double AWP setup not going to be expected whatsoever, as Crucial has the perfect angle, catches the shoulder peek as well. The reactions to find the frag, and he's looking for more through the smoke. 3 players left for this AGO side, as Phoenix are really putting up a stiff resistance. It's going to be Crucial going for that peek yet again. MHL with half a gap in the smoke, but not going to be tested whatsoever. And for this AGO side, they no longer have any information to work with. They have to push into this A bomb site. The backstab comes in. Sydney able to get one, but the communication just not there. And Schwan Flatro gets a free triple kill on the backstab, gets Phoenix their 4th round, and once again puts that AGO economy right on the line.
Yeah, very interesting that his position wasn't communicated there, and that he was allowed to get so many kills on that flank. But at the end of the day, AGO were, they were stuck like fish in a barrel at that point. They were being flanked from all angles. All their positions were known. They were trapped in a ramp. What else could they have done really, other than sit there and wait for their inevitable demise to arrive? They only managed to find the 1 kill off the back of things. Now they are going to force up and invest into the rifles and upgraded pistols on this one, but right now it seems like most of what AGO is doing just isn't great enough right now. Perhaps this change in pace over towards the A bomb site earlier on will be enough, but as soon as this smoke dissipates, this connector play is just going to be absolutely ruined by this position.
Ruby out in the open, an easy opening pick again. Schwan Flatro is doing such a good job. He will be traded out by MHL, and that is a rifle recoverable, but Thomas with the taps is trying to stabilize. Furlan taking down Surreal in the meanwhile makes it very awkward indeed. You can see the CT side just losing control. We spoke about that individual skill, and MHL is bringing it, as it is Crucial left in the 1-on-3. No idea where to look. It is going to be XCOM AGO stealing that 3rd round away, and honestly, that was just the individual skill of MHL.
Yeah, absolutely. Does a great job basically winning that round for his team, right? Finding the best positioning for those shots that he can and converting them into kills. Not much more you can ask for in that situation. And looks like the change in pace did actually help things out for the AGO side in that one. They pushed through the smokes before they dissipated. Their connector play was not shut down immediately. They're going for another quick contact play on the A site in this one.
Trying to get all that utility out, as you spoke about earlier, but there's plenty of CT presence, and Schwan Flatro with the pop flash is going to grab himself the double kill very early on, trying to support Surreal, but he doesn't need it as he finds the headshot for the 3rd, and oh my goodness, what a response from Phoenix, as it's going to be a near enough flawless round. Surreal the only player to lose HP, and they're saving triple AWPs now.
Yeah, well, there's 3 big green guns on that side, and it could be an absolute firing range at the start of this next round if AGO aren't ready for it. They don't really have the money available to try and counter it. The pause is going to come in as the teams now discuss what their strategy is going to be going forward. Surely for Phoenix, it's going to be just shoot anything that walks into your crosshairs when you've got that amount of firepower available. You were saying Juan Flatro being a notable addition to the Phoenix side. He's got 12 kills right now. Only player in the server to reach double digits. 12 kills in 9 rounds. So an impressive, in 8 rounds even, as we're heading into the 9th round. So impressive performance from him. And on the other side of things, unfortunately, Lehman only on absolutely nothing and just an assist to show for himself. So not quite the full James Bond setup going on, but certainly going to need to be contributing a little bit more to the scoreboard if his team wants to start closing this gap between Phoenix.
Interesting to see AGO again forcing very heavily, trying to pick up the 3 pistols. They do manage to get a couple of rifles out, as once more it looks like it's the A bomb site call. They're going to go a little bit slower this time. The full execute pace just not quite working out in the previous, so instead they're going to take their time, try and play into the minds of the CT side, try and just get that doubt coming through and cause a couple of perhaps premature rotations, as the Molotovs and the nades will go over the top. There's plenty of CT presence here, and the nades from the CT side to counter as well. AWP for Crucial has the support of Spellin on the secondary AWP, so it's all AWPs on this A bomb site as the push starts to come through, and the smokes just keeping them clean out of things for the time being. Phoenix, nothing they can do except lie in wait. The AWP of Spellin somehow going to find the wallbang for one, but Lehman will finally get his first kill with a beautiful angle, and the trades are all over the shop. 3-on-2 now as Groovy and MHL, they've got to try and defend this planted bomb with very little utility. In fact, absolutely nothing. The Molotovs will keep Groovy in a very awkward spot. They've spotted out both players. Thomas finds the first, and it's all onto Groovy. 3-on-1 with the Deagle. Surreal going to trade out his teammate's death. And Phoenix, it's close, but they do manage to get their 6th on the board.
Crucial absolutely saving that round from the connector position there. The AGO players get aggressive. They rush through the smoke at the Phoenix players defending. They get away with getting both frags from that position. The AWPer and the supporting rifler both fall, and they're in the perfect position there to be in a 4 versus 2 situation, I think it is, with the complement of rifles available and in that good defensive position, but crucial from Connector. Spots the players as they're retreating back onto the site with their new weapons, gets the collateral through both of them, exploits the fact that they don't have as much HP and armor available, and single-handedly saves that round from Phoenix. Without that one shot, that could have gone very differently for the British side. And now, as we're seeing AGO forced to drop down onto these pistols, I think they're starting to be a bit more aware that they need to be respecting this Phoenix side now. It's not going to be the walk in the park that they thought it once was, as once again they target this A bomb site and hope that they have some kind of ingenuity to this version of their tactic that's going to allow them to hold out this bomb site.
2 flashes are all they have to try and get into A here. This is going to be a straight waterfall out of the palace and try and get a bomb plant. Try and get that cash starting to build up over on the T side. Allow yourselves to full buy into the next round. And there goes flash number 1. They'll all be spotted jumping out of Palace. And the collat comes in, this time from Surreal, to bring us into the 5-on-3. The M4 trying to come up in support, but really just needs to bait into the crosshairs as Crucial finds one. Spell and grabs another. There will be at least one frag from Lemon onto Surreal, but the AWP's still going to be saved. And I mean, for Phoenix, they are doing everything right here. There's those little flashes of individual skill, but they're also playing like a well-oiled machine, rotating efficiently and finding their frags.
Yeah, they're not buckling under the pressure either. There have been several rounds in which XCOM have changed the pace up a little bit. XCOM AGO, that is, rather. They've changed the pace up a little bit, gone quickly out onto these bomb sites, and even captured the sites in certain situations. But Phoenix just remained calm, had their rotating players arrive in the correct positions, and retook those sites in those efforts. So right now they're looking very calm under the pressure of those late round situations. And when Crucial is hitting the shots like this towards mid, there's nothing that AGO can do to stop them.
Dry peeking an AWP in the hands of Crucial is never going to be a good idea, and it's 5-on-3 now as he finds 2 early picks to open things up. You can see what XCOM were trying to do with the mid-B split, but now they've just ran out of the mid area. It's going to be the AUG of Thomas to find one, and Lemon not in a position to trade whatsoever. He's going to be an easy dink and an easy frag for Thomas. Brought down to 37 HP in the process, but he's not going to be fussed at all. As MHL, he's last alive, he's 1-on-5. If he can find a frag or 2 here, that would be great. But Phoenix, they are having none of it. The headshot to finish things off. 8-3 the scoreline. And XCOM AGO, again, their economy isn't there. We're going to see the half buys coming out once more. And they are struggling immensely against what is looking like a well-oiled machine in Phoenix.
Yeah, again, Phoenix winning around with all players left alive, saving their rifles through, so their bank, once again, just been in great situations. They've only been potentially looking down the barrel of some kind of, mixed buy or forced buy situation in 1 round so far in the 12 that we've played. So they've had excellent control over their money virtually all game. A very impressive feat for them to try and accomplish. And AGO, it just seems like whatever they try to do at this point, Phoenix just have an answer for it. Their core default defensive setup is just so good that AGO seem to not have to reply. Now, Karubi's going to find one very nice Deagle headshot, but it's going to get replied almost immediately. And as the rest of his teammates start to fall down, AGO undoubtedly will just be using the end of this round to discuss what they're going to try and do for the rest of this half, because right now, the game is starting to run away from them.
The trades are just so efficient as well on Phoenix. MHL's managed to get himself into an interesting position in towards Connector. I don't think Joanne Flatro has any idea, so this should be a freebie. Almost gives it away, MHL, but now his position's known. Crucial going to try and lock him out. Has the support of Thomas as well to try and just make sure they're not going to lose any more rifles here. The TT side, that's a lovely molly onto MHL. He will burn alive in the hands of Surreal. And for Sydney on the Deagle, what can you find here? How much more expensive can you make it? Doesn't connect with the first, but will find the second to bring us into the 2-on-1 and should be able to get the bomb down as well. Keep that economy building and give yourself half a chance, in fact, in this round. Thomas on 32 HP gifts perhaps half an opportunity to the Deagle. Sydney still playing behind the boxes. There's no real offensive nades to try and flush him out here, as Crucial's going to change up for the AK-47. They're going to walk right into the crosshairs. That's an easy shot. 1-on-1 now for Sydney. He finds the tag. He's playing the angle so brilliantly here. Crucial with it all to do. Can't quite connect. He hears the reload, but there's no more time. The Deagle is good for Sydney. He finds the 3-on-1, and he perhaps rescues the half for AGO.
That is a very impressive individual effort there from Sydney, landing a very important initial deagle headshot onto the only player left defending that A site. And what's interesting there, I think, is that MHL did a very good job at distracting their opponent's positioning there. He was sat in connector for a long time, nearly 30 seconds in that round, with 3 players all focusing on him. As soon as they got the kill onto MHL, the 2 remaining players from Phoenix who weren't defending the A site, so basically everyone alive who wasn't crucial, they began to rotate back off onto that B site. That allowed Sydney to isolate the 1v1 with that deagle, and then did the proper smoke placement, and all of a sudden he's in a 1 versus 2 situation against a player who's low, and he's already been hitting those crisp deagle headshots. So an excellent clutch performance from him, and good team play ultimately from AGO in what looked to be an initially poor situation from MHL.
Trying to go fast towards the A-bomb site. They've isolated the initial fight, but Surreal still alive and kicking under Dark. He's taking that wallbang on the chin. He will finally be found by Groovy, who grabs himself the 180 as well. Crucial and Thomas, AWPs to try and lock things out here. He's gonna take the peak as well, Crucial, to bring us back into the 2-on-2. That bomb no longer wants to be anywhere near this A bomb site. You can see Sydney on 4 HP, hightailing it away, but Thomas is gonna find an angle I didn't even know existed. And it's up to Sydney on 4 HP to find a 1-on-2 on this occasion. He's got very little health to work with. He does have a little bit more firepower than he had in the previous, and he should be able to get the bomb down here.
Yeah, definitely get the bomb down. It'll be interesting to see how Phoenix approach this 2 versus 1 situation. They do have a HE available and the 2 smokes, and Sydney with just a HE left now. So surely somebody's going to be picking up a rifle. It is going to be Thomas. Interesting to see that Crucial remaining on that AWP. That indicates to me that they have no idea as to the HP situation of Sydney, and he's just going to have to be holding out in these apartments right now. It was a 1v3 clutch in the last one that he pulled off, and he's going to have to do a 1v2 now. Does have the upgraded weapon, but not the best amount of HP. Finds the first kill, though. Leaves us in the 1v1 situation. Gets tagged down to 2 health. That HE grenade not going to deter Thomas from the defuse, and I think the stick might just win things here. Pros don't take, and mind games are what reign victorious at this point, and Phoenix reclaim a round. They nearly lost again.
You could see Thomas just thinking about that one. He knew exactly where the player was. He was thinking, how tight of an angle can I make this for the AGO man? And unfortunately for Sydney, he's not quite able to connect with the shots. Phoenix are going to be 1 round away from double digits in the first half. And honestly, I think they would have been dreaming of a start like this. They're going to be able to afford the double AWPs again. They've got a very strong buy. And for AGO, they are grabbing everything they can afford. There's going to be a Galil onto Furlan, Lemon and Groovy unable to pick up any utility at all. I mean, for this AGO side, they need a 5th round, I think, if they are to make a real comeback on the CT side.
Yeah, when you think about their momentum as well, they really haven't been able to string any rounds together so far in this half. It's been isolated wins followed up by virtually immediate resets. So they're going to need to win this round just to have some semblance of momentum. The second pistol is going to be hugely important either way. But right now, if Phoenix are allowed to take double digits heading into the second half and then they win the second pistol, at that point, if you're an AGO fan, your side's just been locked out of this map, unfortunately. So we do know that teams do play differently on the different sides, and perhaps AGO's CT side is where their strengths lie, and that's why they've been picking into this map. But again, a CT side, a strong CT side is pretty much useless if you can't string the rounds together on the T side of things. So hugely important that AGO do manage to convert these next 2 rounds, but it's just going to be interesting to see whether they can or not. They're running into a stacked A bomb site once again.
Running into those double AWPs once more. The connector push could be so crucial here. Surreal able to find the entry, but Groovy comes out of connector, managing to find the refrag through the smoke. They're finding kills, and that is so much better from AGO. They're leaving Thomas in a 1-on-3. This situation is virtually impossible. And you look at the money he's got left, $150. Does he even go for this? He's sitting outside of the murder hole. Is going to make his way through here. Looks like he might well fancy it. Has 1 flashbang to his name. And you can see AGO, they have been so good when they have had these afterplant situations and had the advantage. Just sitting back, just waiting for the CT player to come to you. And they know now exactly where he is with that utility being thrown. But Thomas, he's somehow going to find 1 at least onto MHL. But 1-on-2 now. He's done as much damage as he can do. He's going to be bailing out of that situation so quickly. It will be a 5th round for AGO, and the economy finally starting to break for this Phoenix side.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be in somewhat of a poorer situation in the next one, and well, they're going to be certainly buying whatever they can through, but only really Surreal who's going to be able to afford the full complement rifle. Spellan maybe picks up himself a FAMAS at the cost of head armor. I still think he'd rather go for an SMG with utility in that situation, though, which he does. Now, Juan Flatro does have the M4 available, and we do know that he is a player that's able to turn up individually and get things done right now. But AGO in that last round done an excellent job, as they have in the rounds that they've been winning. It's about dancing around this defensive utility being deployed by Phoenix, right? They wait for the smokes to go into positions, then set up their executes and disregard certain elements. So they might respect the A-ramp smoke, for example, or the palace smoke, but they won't respect the connector one. And that really throws off the rule in your opponent's mindset when they're trying to figure out, okay, are they going to push through this smoke at this point, or are they going to actually respect it and leave it here? For the last round and a half, they are going to be targeting this B bomb site, and there is an SMG and a rifle towards that side of the map to defend it. No AWPs for them to have to run into in this one, but still big individual plays needed from Phoenix to hold this defense.
Fernand a little bit isolated. The booster ninja spotted out, however, and Juan Flatro, of course, he finds the opening pick of the round. They're trying to cut out the short rotation. Sydney's been spotted out. The team kill on the nade from MHL could be so crucial as well, and it is going to be Phoenix finding the round in the madness. They will get themselves double digits as they head onto that T side, and needing just 6 rounds to finish things off here. I think this could be another MDL victory for Phoenix.
Well, they'd definitely be looking for one, that's for sure. And on a new map, Train's the only one that they'd won previously. But nonetheless, they've done an excellent job in that first half, really showing us the power of that individual play. That last round there from AGO looked like it just fell apart a little bit in terms of the team cohesion. They went for the pushes through, but after they lost those initial picks, they didn't know whether to go, whether not to go. They do inevitably decide to push there. They get caught off by the mission grenade trajectory, which you have to presume is from some kind of blocking or some kind of CT counter utility. And then as well, their player who's supposed to be pushing the short flank gets caught off by a rotating Phoenix player in the window. So, you know, just everything falling apart there from the side of AGO. It's another one of those things we've been seeing on their T side where once they commit to an angle and decide to push there, if they start to get stopped in their tracks, they really seem to have no reply. They just all grouped up in those apartments there, didn't really go anywhere, and just sat like fish in a barrel waiting to be taken out by the Phoenix players. So hugely important pistol round coming up in that second half pistol, and well, AGO are going to need it if they want some semblance of a comeback to start in the second half.
They do just look like they don't have a plan B, don't they? They go for that plan A. If it works out, fantastic. More often than not, they're winning. But if there's any kind of resistance from the CT side, they just don't have anything to fall back on at the moment. And for Phoenix, they've got to be feeling great. They've grabbed themselves 10 rounds over on the CT side. They've proven that individually, they're highly talented. We've seen some of those insane shots and some of the skill coming out from the Phoenix boys. Going to give the shout out to Surreal and Thomas, of course. And for them, it's going to be great. They're heading into the T side feeling good, right? You've been hitting your shots, you've been finding your rounds. You only need 6 more to steal this victory from a very highly rated team in MDL in the form of AGO, and it would be a massive victory, I think, for Phoenix. They are quite the mixed roster at the moment. I think they've got a core of about 3, but they brought in Thomas and Juan Flatro, so victory here would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and as well, I do think that the opening stages of this second half are what's going to be crucially important for Phoenix, right? I feel like they've done an excellent job in the first half of this match, but if they start off, they lose the second half pistol, AGO start to gain some momentum. Let's assume that they Phoenix don't manage to convert those following rounds like they did in the opening half after losing the pistol. Then AGO are looking to come back into things. You know, they start building some counter momentum. You're looking at 8, 10, 9, 10 scenario. That's the point where it can start looking dangerous for Phoenix. So I still think that a few rounds strung together from AGO could be enough here to get them back in the game psychologically, but it's all going to lie on who manages to get these pistols and whether any crazy upset strats happen in the second round.
Plenty of P250s being picked up by the T side of Phoenix as well. Surreal and Crucial are going to be looking to take the long-range engagements. Thomas sacrificing almost all of his money. Going to be able to afford 1 flashbang, and that's just about it to try and enable this A-site peak. It's a very heavy stack early on from the AGO boys, putting plenty of presence aggressively in towards Underdark, as well as Furlan takes the initial peak. Crucial spots him out, but can't quite connect with the headshot, and this is baiting beautifully into the hands of Lemon and Co, as it's going to be the double dink through the wood to find the opener. Now the madness starts to come through, and somehow Phoenix are coming through on top. 3 on 2 now. MHL and Sydney with it all to do, taking the engagements at range. They will be able to find the equalizer, and Thomas just not quite connecting on the P250, making it very awkward indeed. This could still go either way. Thomas with just 11 points of health has to cover Surreal as he looks to get the bomb down, and he will be allowed to do so. Whoa. Oh my goodness, that flick has almost single-handedly done it, and there we go. What a finish from the 2 UK boys. We see Surreal and Thomas. You cannot argue UKCS best CS.
Well, the Pistols are certainly back in town in that round. Some excellently nice shots being given off by those UK boys at the end, looking very ropey almost in that 2 versus 2 situation, as you did have Sydney and MHL to worry about, who are two players that have been slightly stronger on those Pistols for the AGO side. But nonetheless, the late round plays coming in clutch for that Phoenix side. And now they are going to be not really overcommitting anywhere too early on. They're going to want to see just what AGO have in store for them in terms of the force buy in this second round. The answer is Deagles, SMGs, and a scout, but are Phoenix going to fall foul to any of these close range angles, or are the players like Spellan and Crucial going to be able to pad their money with those Mac 10s?
A little bit of a trade of damage from Crucial. He spots out the early deagle, but it's a nice shot to open things up. Surreal trying to steady the ship and will do so through the flashbang, grabs the second frag as well. But Groovy's managed to drop the bomb in the meanwhile, and MP9 in his hands is doing so much work. Phoenix in a very awkward situation now, no idea where to look, as it's on to Thomas and Surreal to try and rescue a situation that is rapidly spiraling out of control. MHL has Thomas's position locked down, just changes up the angle, and that might give this Galil half an opportunity to get in towards this B-bomb site. The bomb has to be recovered, and Surreal really has to just make some noise for his teammate. Groovy looking completely the wrong way. Thomas grabs the second on the headshot, and somehow Lemon is left 1 on 2. His saving grace is that there are so many tags onto the T side. Thomas can't even get out the window, but somehow it's playing into his hands, and he will find the headshot. Can't get out of a window, but can click on players' heads all day long. It's going to be a 12th round for the Phoenix boys. And I mean, what are you going to do with your XCOM? It's going to be the timeout called by them to try and work out what they're going to try and achieve with the money they have. But it's going to be a half buy at the best of times.
Yeah, when you mentioned that UKCS was going to be played at the start of this map, that window movement was more the caliber of CS I was expecting to come through in this map. But nonetheless, somehow our boys are coming through with that one. It's very weird communication going on with that B-bomb site defense at that point in terms of why doesn't Groovy turn around there? He knows that there's a player on short. The player's been there for absolutely ages. Surely he should have the faith in his teammate with a scout there to take that engagement over towards the apartments. And then also a really late rotation from the final player there. He's not involved when those initial gunfights happen. Then he's left in the 1v2 situation, which admittedly he shouldn't be. And then it just gets even more messy as Thomas can't get out of that window and nearly falls to the player retaken from short. But somehow Phoenix managed to claim things through. It is going to be another weird buy coming out from AGO in this round. They haven't really made the best economic decisions so far for me in this map, but Lemon and Grubby on the slightly upgraded weapons, with Furlan on that Deagle as well. But nonetheless, they're going for the A site complete gamble stack in this one, as the bomb looks to make its way over towards B.
Phoenix, I think, have read this off the back of that flashbang that was thrown over the A ramp by the CT side. They heard that, and you just saw them adjust almost instantly into this mid to B split that's going to come through. It is going to be a free bomb plant. The stack not quite working out for the CT side, and an opportunity now for Spellan to really start farming that cash. You can see Crucial really up for the fight as well, and it's going to be the Mac 10s finding themselves some openings. Groovy be able to trade for one at the very least, but you can see the rifles just hanging back a little bit towards short. They are comfortable in the long range engagements. They're allowing Crucial just to farm that cash on the Mac 10, and now they'll look to come in and support, make sure there's no more damage done by what little AGO can afford. Try and Flatro with a smart move to give himself the angle, jumping for some reason, but still able to find himself the frag and grabs that 13th round for Phoenix. They are just 3 away now, and you have to back them surely. As AGO, they are going to be able to get the buyout.
Well, this is arguably going to be the most important gun round of the map. No money available for AGO. They've spent absolutely everything they can securing those rifles into this one. And Phoenix just happy to take the bonus round on this spell and sticking on that Mac 10, despite the fact that one flat throw could have dropped an AWP to somebody should that have been necessary. But no, it looks like nonetheless they're comfortable just taking what they have into this round. They're comfortable relying on their individual skill, which has worked out for them so far in this map. Why not back yourselves even more? It's just about, importantly, they need to get these first couple of kills and not get traded out early on, right? The utility for the CTs is already very stretched here. So a late round site attack can go very well for this Phoenix side if they can force the man advantage pressure, and the elimination of MHL in that position is just the way to start things.
Schwan Flatro trying to boost himself into the window is going to be a little bit vulnerable, and Groovy will be able to trade out 1-for-1 at the very least, bringing us back into this 4-on-4. That rifle should be recoverable at some point, and Spellan may well look to grab it to trade up from that Mac 10. As AGO, they're trying to work out where this T-side push is coming from. The bomb has been recovered. Crucial, a little bit out in the open, will be found relatively freely by Groovy. Somehow, this round is starting to swing back the way of XCOM, but Surreal going to find the transfer spray. Looking for more, won't quite be able to grab it, however. Traded out almost immediately by Furlan, and we're going to need another miracle round from Thomas here. Spots out the first, somehow dropping down with the headshot. That's going to allow the bomb to go down. That's going to be a rifle recovered, and how important could that be in the context of this round and in the context of the map as well? It's 2-on-2. The M4 is going to be recovered by Spellin here. He can look to support from in towards Firebox, and it's all about the timing here. Thomas has the AUG on lockdown, but can't win the aim duel. It is all onto Spellin. He's in the 1 versus 2. The bomb not even planted for him as he makes his way in towards Tetris, trying to take the early peek, and he won't be able to win the fight. It is going to be XCOM just about grabbing themselves a 6th and the start of the comeback, maybe.
Perhaps. Phoenix playing everything right tactically there in that late round situation. They decide to attack the A-bomb site, only have the one player to isolate in that fight, and somehow Thomas just gets the sprinting nigh on mid-air headshot with that AK-47 to eliminate the player in Firebox. But we did say that it was going to be potentially the most important gun round of the map so far, and AGO do manage to win it. They do stay in things, and they keep their opponents that much further away from attaining map points. Surreal and Juan Flatro right now, both on 20 kills each, so clearly the fragging powerhouses for their side at the moment. But are AGO going to be able to wake up now? Are they going to be able to start finding some momentum? That is the question. And it is going to be an A-site attack that they're going to have to try and fend off by the looks of things if they want a chance of winning this round as well.
Phoenix going route 1 with the full A execute. That's a lovely nade to find some damage. Not getting quite as much as it deserves as the CT smoke will keep Lemon out of things. This should be a bomb plant relatively freely. It's going to have to be the 5-on-5 retake, and indeed Spellin, he's going to get that open plant down without any real issues. Surreal going to be pop flashed in towards CT spawn as Furlan just clears the back lines. And can AGO find this retake? 3 players in connector, a couple deep in towards CT. Juan Flatro up close and personal. The spray's good for 2. Can't quite find the third as he looks to transfer to jungle, and into the 4-on-3 we go. AGO finding themselves again a man down. That's a lovely flashbang, but Crucial and Surreal, they're finding frags, and Thomas is going to chime in with the finisher. It's 14-6. AGO, they find themselves the isolated round, but that's all they're going to be given by this Phoenix side.
Yeah, the individual play once again shining true for Phoenix, saving these rounds from that positioning from Juan Flatro. That was absolutely incredible. Goes aggressive at just the right time as well. Getting the 2 kills there is already more than he would have perhaps bargained for. And I think you can see he clearly just doesn't expect there to be a third player at the bottom of those stairs. But getting the information there is all that he needed to do in terms of that third situation. Scout tag onto Surreal now is going to give away MHL's positioning, and he's down to 31 off the back of that Molotov. More tags being garnered over towards this B-bomb site, as what is already a weak defense at the moment from AGO in terms of the weapons that they have available, just being weakened even further by sprays and utility at this point. And it looks like their chances of holding onto this one are going to be in dire straits unless they can get some lucky close angle play with these SMGs and shotguns.
Again, Phoenix playing very intelligent CS as they are going to find the opening pick onto Sydney. The scout of MHL is going to be able to trade at least 1-for-1 as this B-bomb site does look like it's the final target, and Groovy's going to find a freebie onto Spell, and Phoenix perhaps just guilty of switching off a little bit now. They need to get into this bomb site sooner rather than later, but MHL, he wants to have a say in it as it's Crucial and Thomas, UK and abroad, and Thomas again just jumping down is going to find the frag, but he's all on his own now and he needs the 1v3. Creek in hand, such a powerful weapon, but he really has it all to do. Looks like he's just going to try and scramble that bomb down, and indeed he's going to be taken out near enough immediately thereafter. AGO, they are going to respond, and I think they're just starting to look a little bit more warmed up in this second half.
Yeah, had near enough no chance of winning that 1v3 considering Grubby's positioning on B short there. Perhaps if he wasn't around there in a different angle, maybe also towards market, that Thomas would have had a chance there in that 1v3 situation, but gets the bomb down is pretty much all that he can do outside of somehow continuing to manage to land these mid-air running headshots all the time onto people. He's just doing everything that he can. But again, they are going to reinvest into this one of Phoenix. Barely any utility, just flashes and smokes of one flat throw, but the spawns are there for Spellan. He's found the opening AWP shot, and that's taken the man advantage back into Phoenix's favor.
That was such a nice boost as well to give Spellan the best possible angle to hit the opening pick, to push it back, and again, We find ourselves in the 5v4. Furlan trying to be proactive. He does have that Krieg. He's safe from the previous. Such a strong CT rifle, and he's trying to make use of it. They've got this double setup. Crucial going for a little bit of an enthusiastic peek. Will be found by Groovy and brings it back into this 4-on-4 with Sydney very aggressive in towards the apartments. Spelling gonna walk right into the crosshair. That's a freebie of an opener, and you can see Juan Flatro very cautious about taking that fight and giving away another free frag here. Sydney, he's trying to stay alive. He's trying to buy as much time as he can. Finally, Juan Flatro is going to find the refrag. He did so much work there, but Surreal is going to find another. It's 3-on-2. MHL and Furlan, the split between the sites, and Phoenix are going to head fully towards A. It's MHL alone. AWP and CT. What can he find with this? There's a little bit of utility, but it's just the one flashbang. It will force the AWP off the initial peak if he's going for it, but it looks like MHL is reading this beautifully. Just falling back. Now he goes for the re-peak. He knows he's going to have free roam, and he's going to hit the initial shot, taking down Thomas and equalizing things at 2 apiece. Now he's trying for the wallbang, trying to buy some time for that rotation coming through from Furlan, but not going to quite manage it. MHL up on top of the boxes now. He's trying to do anything he can to equalize things for his team here. Up on top of Ticket he goes, and he's going to find the frag. Surreal, he's left all alone. He's only got 36 HP to work with in towards jungle, and he's going to have to do it all here. The Krieg in his hand makes it a little bit more likely at the very least, as MHL looking for any kind of an angle. He's going to get on that bomb through the smoke. He's going to try and hold it for as long as he can. The spray's good for one from Surreal. He's looking for the double, but he's not quite able to find it. It is going to be XCOM AGO with their 8th round of the half, and not quite the heroics we expected in that one.
Just 13 HP left in it to save it as well, but somehow AGO continue to string these rounds together. Now, admittedly, Phoenix didn't have all of the utility available in that last round. You have to consider the argument that if they'd waited to buy in this one as opposed to buying straight in that last one, then this game could all but be closed out at this point in time, considering that it was just 13 HP there that made the difference. That's one well-placed HE grenade, that's one well-placed molly, shutting your opponents completely out of the round in that one. And it does look like they're going for the slightly more economical decision here with just those upgraded pistols available. We do know that some incredible work can be done with the individual aim of some of these Phoenix players, and those Deagles will be able to do quite a lot of damage if they are in the correct positions. But right now, HL having to be the player that you compliment because of that last round, does an excellent job anchoring down that A bomb site, plays it absolutely perfectly in a late round situation there, secures both the kills that he needed without falling down, and buys enough time for his teammate to rotate in the correct position. What more can you ultimately ask for from your AWP to defend your chances of staying in this map? And Phoenix now have to try and make something of this force buy.
Try and make something of absolutely nothing, really. 4 Deagles and a P250 to dismantle that full buy on the CT, but Juan Flatro, don't mess with him, as he's going to find the 1 Deag towards top of mid. You can see what Groovy was trying to achieve, but it just gives away the early frag, and Sydney taking the contact is going to trade damage, but here we go, Phoenix. They're starting to queue up towards the A-bomb site. They have so much presence to work with here, and it's going to be a 4-on-2 if they choose to go now. It's just MHL and Furlan to lock this one down, and that AWP in the hands of MHL can be so vulnerable when he's being overrun by 3 or 4 pistols, just getting all up in his crosshairs. Surreal going to take a lot of damage early on, but the headshot surely has to come through, and of course it's Juan Flatro, as Furlan able to trade on the nade, down into the 4-on-3. At least one frag going the way of XCOM AGO, but Juan Flatro's got himself an M4, and I think he might be back in it here. Sydney going to take down the B site lurk, and MHL grabs another, but here we go. The backstab's good for one from Juan Flatro. That starts to open up that B bomb site a little bit more as Thomas tries to get this bomb down. He knows he has to buy time, and actually Juan Flatro is calling these rotations away perfectly. MHL must have heard that bomb go down, and indeed he's going to start to make his way back around towards A. P250 versus P250, and it's going to be going the way of MHL. On that AWP, though, not able to find the initial shot onto Juan Flatro. This would be a huge clutch from him, and he's still finding damage. He's still making it difficult for AGO. Sydney trying to rotate in, hasn't quite caught the timing, and now half an opportunity. Juan Flatro unable to get it, however, and it is going to be the round going the way of AGO. They will get their 9th on the board, and they are starting to really feel their way back into this matchup.
Yeah, it has been these very close late round situations at this point, always down into these clutch situations against Phoenix, considering that they're not bringing the strongest weapons forward through these rounds. They're doing a great job forcing the situations that they are at the moment. Now they're going to be able to upgrade. Look at all these Kriegs. 3 Kriegs available for the T's at this point, as opposed to acquiring any AWP. But the AWP of MHL still alive and kicking for Csgo. He's been so pivotal in their defenses so far, and I've got a feeling that he's going to be a player that you need to eliminate early on in a round from now on if you want to be securing some more of these T rounds. They're trying to do so with the spam through the mid smoke, but right now not enough damage being found early on in that round. And Phoenix, once again, they have to make a decision about where they're going to attack, and they ideally need to start getting some of these opening frags without being traded off all the time.
They can't afford to keep losing the opening player. They're relying on that individual skill perhaps a little bit too much, and it's just giving XCOM Agio a way back into this matchup, just a glimmer of light at the end of that tunnel. And as we will see Phoenix looking like they're going to set up towards this B bomb site. They're going to look to fully pincer in. And can they find the frags? It's going to be down to Furlan on the rotation through the window and Sydney on the site to lock it down. This is such a well-timed rotation. Furlan going to get an absolute freebie, and the nade almost finding a kill onto himself, but it's still going to be the frags going the way of this CT side, and Surreal is left 1-on-5. Nothing he can do, surely. He's going to find the initial headshot, but there's 4 players pincering him in, and it looks like it will indeed be that 10th round going the way of XCOM Agio, and they're really making a run of this one now.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of that halftime segment, right? If Phoenix allow Agio to start building that momentum together, allow them to begin catching up in this map, that potentially could be their downfall, and it looks to be like that's what's happening at the moment. Agio certainly making their way back onto the scoreboard, starting to string rounds together, which is something that they seemed largely unable to do in the opening half, and their economy looking much stronger than it was when it was on the T side of things. Still not completely comfortable though. All Phoenix have to do really is win 1 round to force them to drop down to some of the less favorable rifles or SMGs, and 2 rounds in a row could force Agio onto a complete eco, but 2 rounds in a row would just cause the victory for Phoenix. So obviously not what Agio are looking for, as we take some extensive timeouts at the moment. Phoenix want to assess their options. We know that they can make things out of these rounds with these Deagles, right? Especially players like Juan Flatro. We know he can land those headshots and just create plays for you. It's about where you're going to have the maximum impact in those situations and trying to secure the bomb plant to bring them extra money forward in that one. I think ideally they want to start coming up with a counter to MHL's AWP right now. That's what's doing a lot of damage on their pushes at the moment, especially on that A bomb site. So if they can find a clever way of dealing with him, maybe they can put their next round up on the board.
Maybe they can find half an opportunity. They are going to be able to get some Deagles out into this round. They are going to be able to find themselves perhaps half an opportunity, as it is the technical pause called by XCOM Agio, trying to find their way to get through these technical issues. If they do stay on it too long, I can see chat getting absolutely furious right now. So if the tech issue is too long lasting, then we will head over to the demise game. But for the time being, we're going to stick around and try and see if we can get through this tech pause and get back into proceedings.
Well, yeah, that's obviously we'd like to see the fruition of this match, as we have been following in it so far in this game. We are planning on broadcasting that demise game up next, ladies and gentlemen, just as soon as the broadcast for this one has been completed. So do stick around for that when it occurs as well. I'm just wondering, are more decisions being made, Wolfie?
At the moment, we are just waiting for that tech pause to finish up. It looks like it should be finishing very, very shortly. So let's hope that that one gets done and dusted and we can get back into proceedings. We want to stick with this game to the bitter end, and it looks like it is going right down to the wire here. As for Phoenix, they're starting to just lose their grip on this matchup. Agio really coming into their own towards the end of that second half, really, towards the death of the game. And just making it as difficult as possible for the mixed roster of Phoenix and really putting them under a lot of pressure on their T side.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not finding quite as much success as they were in the opening parts of that half. Perhaps maybe this is the pressure starting to get to them, as once again they're going to be dropping down just on those upgraded pistols in the round coming up. So individual play has been what has been carrying them through some of these tight round situations at the moment, and it looks like individual play is what is going to be needed once again for the side of Phoenix to try and find a victory in things. But let's throw things to chat. What are your opinions? Who do you think is going to win Are AGO on for the comeback and able to defend this side of the map? Or are Phoenix going to be able to close things out with some of those flashy individual performances? Let us know. Give us your reasons why in chat so we can talk about them. Or just politely leave them there for us because the game is about to be resumed and the tech pause has ended.
Let's go, ladies and gents. Deagles and a P250 for the Phoenix boys to try and clutch this one out so we can get onto that demise game. But can they find the round? They have plenty of utility to work with behind these pistols, but it's going to take a lot of effort to really come back to that level of individual skill that we know that Phoenix can bring. We've seen them bringing it, but for the time being, it's not going to be the case whatsoever. Spamming with the flashbang, dropping it deep, trying to force the AWP off of the angle. It's a very split side at the moment for the Phoenix boys. Not really looking like they're grouping up on either bomb site just yet, but they do have time to play with. Bleeding all that utility. They have one flashbang remaining over on the T side of things to get into one of these bomb sites, to get themselves the opportunity to shut this one out here and now. Patro with the boost is going to get a perfect timing. That's such a great opening. It's putting doubt in these CT players' minds, and Thomas is going to capitalize. Grabs himself the 1v and a couple of tags onto MHL as well, making it so difficult for the AWPer. And there we go. He finally connects with the second headshot. This is what we wanted to see from Phoenix. We wanted to see this individual skill, and they are bringing it out in buckets right now as it's a 4-on-2. And I don't even know if AGO go for this. Sydney's thinking about it in towards CT. He does have Furlan in towards the window room, but that's going to be backing off towards the B bomb site. Two players trying to save now. That is it. Phoenix, you have map point.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely what we were looking for. I was still clenching a little bit towards the, clenching my fists, that is, towards the end of that last round, as MHL was still alive towards the CT position. I thought maybe his AWP aim would just be stronger than the Deagle aim for the side of Phoenix, but nonetheless, they did manage to pull things off with a very well-placed Molotov, and then Thomas ultimately finding the follow-up headshot in the end there. That's going to put them on map point. AGO now need 5 in a row if they want to try and gain things, a victory in terms of their performance here on Mirage. But Phoenix right now, they're just one round away for doubling their win-loss record so far in season 32 of the EU MDL.
And it will be Phoenix calling that timeout. They know they have 5 opportunities to finish the job here and now, and what a huge opportunity is against a team of the caliber of AGO. They have such a strong buy coming into this next round, and it's all on them now. It's on to them to finish this game and finish this series on a high. For the people in the chat who are going absolutely mental, Demise don't have a single player in the server yet, so stop worrying. We're gonna get to that game once we're finished with this one, and the pause is finally over. Phoenix, they have their opportunity to finish things here and now. Can they make the most of it as the early utility makes its way in towards middle?
Yep, absolutely, and the Phoenix player is going to be following it out by the looks of things as the rest of their team take the bomb over towards this B bomb site and inevitably look to probe underpass as they have been doing so often on their offensive side of things. No T-side commitment towards the A area of the map right now. Very heavily involved over towards B and mid at the moment, focused on taking those positions instead. And look at this adaptive play from AGO as well, right? They're holding very aggressive positions towards this A bomb side at the moment, and that could potentially be Phoenix's downfall should they decide to push this connector smoke. But it does look like a B execute is what is going to come in, and they have virtually 3 players to deal with there as MHL is holding a very aggressive position with his rifle towards the window, just making sure that none of these players are able to sneak through into jungle and attack that A bomb site.
It's a very nice setup from the CT side here. You couldn't ask for much more in this situation as Phoenix. They're going to try and go for the full B play here. They need this one to work out as well. They will not want this game to drag on any longer than it absolutely has to. The utility going absolutely everywhere. Trying to isolate these fights here. This T side trying to push out the CT players with the Molotovs, but it's not working so far. Sydney's still alive. Lemon has smoked himself off in. Get right. He's only going to find the first, though. Traded out 1-for-1. Now the 4-on-4, and the CT's trying to rotate in. Spellin not able to cut it off, though. And how crucial could that be for Thomas, Surreal, and Crucial, who still haven't managed to clear the site? Thomas tries to get the bomb down and just gifts his life. Crucial will find the refrag to bring us back 3-on-2, but there's still so much AGO can do with that bomb out in the open, and MHL is going to find himself at least one freebie, as now it's 3-on-1 with no time left. Phoenix, you cannot win this round. It's going to have to be another crack at this one. Crucial, the last alive is going to be found, of course. And there we go, ladies and gents. XCOM, they get their 11th, and now the economy starts to wobble a little bit for Phoenix.
Yeah, the 4-buy, I think, is just going to still come through there for the Phoenix side. Thomas had about 7 grand in his bank as well, and wasn't the primary AWP, needed to invest in that one, so I was expecting the buy to come through in this situation there. Again, Phoenix just getting caught off guard. They had somewhat of a lackluster B site execute there. Somebody was just sat on site with the bomb for a very long time after not clearing bench. It looked like they were a little bit too tentative to try and push some of these angles. They've refocused towards A in this round, but it's another gamble stack in this position. They got 4 players here to buy.
Such an awkward look for the T side. The gamble stack works out beautifully, and it's just a little bit unlucky, arguably, for the Phoenix boys. And they're 5-on-3 very, very quickly, and the trade's just going the way of XCOM AGO. You can see what the T side of Phoenix were trying to do by upping that pace, but it's not working out at all. And Thomas is 1-on-4, and I don't think there's any way back into this one either for Phoenix. This is going right down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. As Thomas is going to try and keep his hands on that AK for about 1 minute and 10 seconds. I don't think there's any real chance he does. So instead, he's going to try and find himself a couple of frags, perhaps. Try and make something happen towards the death of this round. But it's going to be very difficult for him to really get anything going. Furlan going to spot him out by the shadow. And it will be a 12th round the way of XCOM AGO. And, oh my goodness, this one. It looked so set and done at the halfway point. But XCOM, they are not giving up quietly.
Yeah, absolutely not. 15-12. Now Phoenix are going to have to drop down to some kind of an eco. They're going for the forced pistols in this, so you have to anticipate 15-13 in the next. And then what happens? Do they choose to go for the full buy? Because look at the money that they have left over. If they do lose this round and buy up into the next one, they're not going to have a full complement of utility available, especially not on their AWPer, and they're not going to be really able to consider those Kriegs either. So this could come right down to the wire. It's just going to come down to, in this particular situation, how well Sydney is able to defend against this B apartment rush.
He has to get this one down. He has the support of Furlan, who's able to find 2 before he's traded out. The pistol's not working out at all for the Phoenix boys. They're into a 4-on-2. The flashbang somehow not going to stop Thomas from getting at least 1 more. But I think this is just about economic damage now. And indeed, you're going to see Crucial desperately trying to get that bomb down. Not quite able to do so, however. And now it's just clean up again for the AGO boys. Misses the shot, but Groovy's there to bail the AWPer out. And there we go. It's going to be a 13th. XCOM AGO are just 2 away from pulling off what would be a truly monumental comeback to force this to OT.
Yeah, this is going to be a very important round now for the Phoenix side. I've got a feeling they are going to decide to buy up into it because that money is available. And here we are. This is do or die time now for the mix side. They are going to have the AWP available in the hands of Crucial, but his utility is going to be slightly limited into that one. And Surreal does have enough to pick up a secondary AWP, but decides not to do so. So just the one AWP being brought in through on the T side for Phoenix in this one, and I've got a feeling again it's just going to be a single AWP setup from the AGO guys as well. So hugely important round here for Phoenix. You've got to say the momentum right now completely with the Polish side in this one. They have the stronger mentality coming into this round. It's just going to be a case of how well are Phoenix going to be able to deal with these CT players, and are these CT players going to be able to land their shots? We're seeing Groovy and MHL being the 2 standout players coming forward in this second half for the AGO side, and Phoenix are going to have to find a way to deal with those 2, or we could be looking at an overtime situation.
They need something absolutely huge, but MHL's going to shut it down early on. He's traded 1-for-1 by Surreal, but through the smoke, Surreal, oh my goodness, that could be exactly what Phoenix need. Thomas really has to stay alive here, though, and he's a little bit isolated towards the A-ramp, so it's going to be a relatively easy find. As we go back into the 3-on-3, there's tags on both sides for them to try and work with, and what do Phoenix look to do here? How do they look to structure this round? That is the real question. We're going to have to see how they look to push on through. They have very limited opportunities now to clutch this one out. They are starting to run out of time, and Lemon getting very aggressive towards the A-ramp could cut the bomb off at the source. Spellin has been having a bit of a rough T side, and you wouldn't want him heading towards that AGO player in Lemon, who has the shadow angle. Furlan finds one. This should be a freebie, and it's looking like it's all over again. It's going to be a 14th XCOM AGO. Surely we are not going to see an OT in this matchup.
It looked all set for Phoenix at that point. They get the opening 2 kills there at the cost of just 1, and it's the firepower. It's MHL and Grubby that they take out of that round, or Groovy rather, sorry. You know, it's the 2-star performers for the side of AGO. Everything should be all but theirs in terms of their attack, but unfortunately not able to close it out. They're refocusing now on this A-bomb site. Only 2 players actually deep into defending it. As I say that, though, Groovy is going to make his way through Connector, but they haven't decided to push anywhere so aggressively. Spellan very lucky to survive there with just 2 HP. That could be quite significant in the latter portions of this round. You just don't know how important that's going to be at this point in time. But Phoenix right now, they're pretty much all bottled up towards this A Palace.
And what an opportunity for the XCOM AGO boys. If it ends at 15-15, we're calling it a draw, ladies and gents. Thomas and Surreal finding a frag apiece, but MHL able to trade at the very least one. That should allow the bomb to go down, but this backstab is so good from Spellan. 4 on 2 now, and what an opportunity for Phoenix, but MHL, he is not done with this game just yet. 3 on 2 now, and Verland still finding frags, still making it happen. It's on to MHL, 1 on 2. There's so little HP remaining on this Phoenix roster for them to try and find a way into things. Pop Flash for Ram Flatro. They have to win this Angel. They have to win the peaks. The bomb is still out in the open. It plays perfectly for MHL. He misses one. He spots out both. He hits the first. It's all on Spellan. 1-on-1. And it is going to be 15 all. And I think the other game has just gone live. So we're going to call that one a draw, ladies and gents. I'll keep you updated in the chat. But we are going to go across because my chat are losing their shit. And we're going to go across to the other game, if that's okay with you, Pratalis.
Yeah, sure thing. Absolutely. Let's get over there and see what's going on with the Demise game. That's incredible from MHL. His A-site AWPing in that game, really commendable. It saved AGO's entire CT side there. And without him, they were in serious trouble.